Hey there, and welcome to another episode's One Email, Two Takes. I'm Will Allred. I'm joined here with my partner in crime, Christina Finseth. If you're not familiar with the show, this is the weekly Sales Hacker. It's a podcast, it's a video series, I don't know. But Christina and I take emails that are either submitted to us or people send to us, and we give feedback. We give our two takes, our perspective on how we would rewrite those emails. It's not just a breakdown, it's a full rewrite. And so this week, Christina got forwarded from the CEO of Greenhouse a lovely email that was sent to the CTO of Greenhouse that has honestly had us cracking up. So Christina, you mind giving some extra color here?
Yeah. Do you want to let me share my screen too?
Yes.
Sweet. Live hiccups. We keep recording. Yeah, so it's really funny because I normally don't have much interaction with my CTO. But I got this email forwarded to me and I was like, oh, we got to use this in our next episode, Will. I have not seen something coming in hot like this in a hot minute. And so you'll realize real quickly probably why I called this episode Full Scrap, because I've never seen anything like this.
I mean, it's something else. Look at the formatting, there's squiggle lines. This is,
I mean, I have to assume, and this is coming from marketing myself, I have to assume that this is a marketing play, but if not, I'm really curious to know like how this became a thing. But anyway, the subject line was please introduce yourself. And because this is such a long email, we're actually going to take turns reading sections. All about me. And yes, that was a headshot of the rep. Get to know me. Hey there, I am your blank business consultant in New York City, and I wanted to share more about myself so you can see the person behind everything. I have been with Blank Business Advantage for 2 years, and I'm always eager to connect as I truly love helping others succeed and knowing that I played a role in their success. I grew up in Rhode Island, spending my summers on the beach and snowy winters practicing gymnastics. As I got older, I graduated from the University of Rhode Island with my bachelor's degree in public relations. I love connecting with new people to build relationships and learn from others, which is one reason why I love this job so much. The past few years have been difficult to connect with others, so I wanted to share a few fun facts about my life.
Oh, that's touching. I feel like I got to know her. Okay, so next section, we're taking turns. I feel like I'm in third grade again. My fur babies, Milo and Artie. Meet my two favorite fuzzy friends, Milo and Artie. They are Shih Tzu mini poodles, and they are my world. I got Milo in college against my parents' say, and it turned out to be the best thing I ever did. I feel like I'm really getting to know this person. Now my parents love him and want to take him all the time. Artie, on the right, was given to me during COVID, and he's the best little cuddler. We enjoy swimming in Cape Cod over the summertime, homemade treats, and traveling to wherever is next. Wow.
All right, passing the popcorn back to me. Travel bug. I have a serious case of the travel bug. I love to travel, exclamation. So far, I have been to 9 countries. My favorite place to date was Bali, Indonesia, where I had the cool experience of celebrating the Balinese New Year. I also love taking my niece and nephew to Disney World. I have been to Disney World 22 times and will be hitting 23 times this November, but it's always extra special when I get to take them. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me. And then this was, just so you know, a phone number and a Calendly link. So that's the email that was received. Nothing else, no other context. And I guess my question, because this is what's on my head, Will, we always talk about showing some human, but connecting it back to purpose of reaching out, right?
It's easy.
This is like all full-blown human. Like, I feel like I just read like a dating profile or, like I still have no clue what you do.
It's easy to laugh. This rep was probably trying something new. Yeah, maybe they just don't know. And it's cool because that's the point of the show is we can teach people how to get this stuff done correctly. I think if I had to summarize my main sort of um, quarrel with this approach is the headline all about me. you know, outbound should never be all about you. It should be about them, meeting them where they're at, because their inbox is their to-do list. And so they really just don't have time for a landing page about your personal story. As much as like this stuff is important and it's great to connect with the individual on the other end, this probably isn't the way to do it. And it probably is something that is meant for after the fact. It actually reminds, after the conversation gets started, actually reminds me of some consulting work, sort of my life before Lavender, where we were working with a financial services firm, and they were adamant about like their wealth management practices and how they, basically were life coaches. And I'm like, y'all can't lead your marketing with the fact that you're life coaches. Nobody's going to respond, at least not the ones that have like the money that you're trying to, manage. And it was like this whole spin up, but it's like, you have to start a conversation first, and then you can start to get into these more personal aspects, and you can start to build that relationship. You don't, come out on the first date and just like launch into everything, right? It's a little too much.
I agree. And honestly, where I see some of this fitting in, it's kind of funny that it's all about me when we always talk about making it all about them. That was not planned for this episode, but I think, you could make some of these like PSs.
Yep.
It could be like a PS, hey, meet Milo and Artie, my two favorite furry friends too. They hope that you respond. You can make it playful that way and still share things about yourself that show a human side. It's just, I've never seen an email where it's literally all about me, like all about that person.
Yeah.
Could you imagine this going to like 100 CTOs at like mid-market and enterprise companies? Like, I'm just imagining the CTOs reading this and being like, huh?
I'm imagining most of the CTOs never getting this because all the formatting sending it straight to the spam filter.
True. Yes.
Wow. Actually, I think like the formatting is kind of an interesting approach if you can do it in a much more concise way. And you did it as a follow-up because, kicking off an email chain with all these images and formatting is not a good idea. But if it's in a response, it's going to have a much more favorable setting. But like, overall, not my approach. Wouldn't recommend it.
I guess
cool.
We can talk about why we call it full scrap.
Really, you and I had such a hard time rewriting this. I feel like we should have recorded that alone because it was such.
We should have had outtakes because I was literally like, what do they even do? Let me go research this.
Oh yeah, we had to do our research.
Reverse engineering. But you go first, my friend.
I'll go first. So I couldn't come up with a subject line, so I went with my go-to default, which I talk about with Morgan Ingram a good bit, which is like the idea of company name / company name. It's pretty bland, pretty basic. If I was going to do something a little more my style, I might try to do something like office supplies. Regardless, it starts the email, Mike, or to your CTO friend. I can't imagine you think about office supplies much. When you do, it's probably a fire drill. Are you familiar with our company's B2B org? I imagine you know us as an individual shopper. We're helping hybrid teams like yours save big by putting business supplies on autopilot. Well, short, simple. Basically, what I'm trying to lean on is like, you probably know our name, but you probably don't know all the things that we do for B2B. Office supplies aren't like a sexy topic. And so I'm just calling out the obvious of like, you probably don't want to have to think about this. We have got like some more good stuff here that you should probably consider. And it sets up a series of follow-ups where I can start to educate and trickle that information out, always with the purpose of generating enough curiosity to get a response. So that's my approach. Christina, what do you think of it?
I really love it. And I also take a similar like fallback subject line in the sense that I'll usually do company plus company, and make it more like, hey, let's join forces for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I love that. And it tends to work well. I think most of my cadences where I have that type of subject line variation is around like a 70 to 80% open rate. So we're at least getting the opens there.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with that is to make sure that, if you're using some sort of tech that pulls in company names, just cleaning those company names up. If they have like LLC or like whatever, shorten it, right? Because that goes a long way. Or if you can tell based on the email address that they have an acronym for their company, use the acronym or like the abbreviation versus like the full company or whatever. So, but I love this. I think this is great. I'm going to imagine that you probably have the top email. I had a really hard time with this one, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And your point on like cleaning up the company name variables, it's so key. I think the other one that we don't think about a lot is like softening variables. Did a project with a real estate agency. One of the easiest things that we did was we went through and just looked at the like the address field. And so instead of like listing out the entire address, like, hey, looks like you're near XYZ address, right? It was just like, I would use just like the street name and like remove all those extra variables. Just like a simple Excel sheet task of like, hey, text the columns, move some things around, clean some things up. Okay, ready to go through
It's worth
yours?
the extra time too.
It
I'm
is.
just saying that it really is worth the extra time. And even if you know that someone's going to be pulled in as Michael and you can quickly see on their profile, whether via recommendations or something, that people are calling them Mike, freaking call them Mike.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, let's see yours. I haven't seen
All
this
right.
yet.
I also kept mine short and sweet, and I've been playing around with what you said about not doing 2 questions. So I did subject line employee tech because I'm thinking if I'm reaching out to a CTO, I'm not reaching out about general business supplies necessarily. I want to focus on tech and tools. So I just said, Mike, curious, are you currently relying on a partner for business supplies? Kept that pretty general just in case. And then we're helping companies like blank and blank reduce costs and time spent on employee tools and tech with our business purchasing programs. If you're open to stacking us up against your current partner, because let's be truthful, more than likely there is some sort of preferred partner that all of these companies are using, whether it's Apple or whoever for tech and tools. But if you're open to stacking us up against your current partner, I'm here to help. Cheers, rep. So I left it open-ended at the end. And just kept my question at the top, and kind of flowed from there. So short, sweet, to the point.
Oh, I love that. I feel like you could do like a combination between the two of ours, where it'd be like, Mike, I imagine you're familiar with company name as an individual shopper. Curious if you knew about our B2B offering. Would you be open to stacking us up against your current partner for business supplies? Question mark.
Yep.
Send. Now we got a third take, a little hybrid between the two. I love that approach because like you're right, they probably have something in place for it, instead of just being honest with yourself and not acting like you invented something net new. Cool.
There we go. I think this was like episode 35 or 36, something
35.
like that. Kind of crazy.
It's wild. We keep doing them.
Sure.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe. This goes out through Sales Hackers weekly emails. It's also available on Sales Hackers site within the video section. Recently discovered that, and there's like a bunch of pictures of me and Christina there. But you can also find us on the Sales Hacker YouTube page, YouTube / Sales Hacker. Like, subscribe wherever you prefer, and be sure to check in, I guess not next week because it's 4th of July. So hopefully you're getting some time away as well. But the week after we'll be back at it. So thanks and keep testing.